Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from everyone's favorite Halo YouTuber. This past weekend wrapped up the second flight for Halo Infinite and wow, it totally changed my opinion of the game. It's no secret that I was a little down on the game before. I missed most of the first flight and first weekend of this flight, and with the game launching without all the features you'd expect, my excitement for the game was really dying. But after spending my entire weekend playing Halo Infinite, I can say that 343 totally redeemed themselves. So what has one weekend done to change my last few months of negativity? Let's get into it. First and foremost, I really am enjoying everything the sandbox has to offer. Is there anything more fun than having both the rocket launcher and grapple shot? Being able to fling yourself in the sky and rain down rockets like an orbital strike is by far my favorite thing to do in Halo Infinite. I definitely was not happy to see the grapple shot in Halo Infinite's 2020 campaign gameplay reveal, but that's why I'm a huge proponent of actually playing the game before having a final opinion. I imagine the Halo 5 advanced movement on steroids, with 8 people swinging around the map like Spider-Man. But instead of hanging down to give you a sweet kiss on the forehead, they're going to be blowing you sky high with the spankers. But after spending a decent amount of time with the game, there's never more than one grapple shot on the map, and the equipment is pretty well balanced. The gameplay possibilities brought forth by the grapple shot far exceeds any negatives of having the grapple shot in the game, at least in my opinion. The other equipment in the sandbox are very unique as well. The repulsor effect, being able to launch people off the map, is such dumb fun. It's also a great way to defend the strongholds when you're close to a capture. Instead of trying to kill someone before they get in to contest, you can just get some cover and repulse them out of the stronghold to finish the capture. There is also going to be a thruster equipment which we haven't got a chance to use yet, but I'm excited to see how that can be combined with the movement mechanics and what sort of crazy things you can do with that. The threat sensor and drop shield are two other pieces of equipment we were able to use, but honestly, I didn't find them very useful or fun. I was dropping them every single time for either a repulsor or grapple shot. While I am sitting here gushing over Halo Infinite and wishing I could still play, it is important to note that I do still think there are tons of flaws. The AR was pretty overpowered, the sidekick was generally not fun to use, Bloom still adds a bit of randomness to your gunfights, and what do they do to strongholds? These things are definitely a cause for concern for me, but sometimes you need to just take a step back and realize Halo needs to have something for all types of gamers. One example of this for me is Behemoth. All I saw about this map on social media was that it's the best Halo map since back in Halo 3, but after my first 3 games or so, I absolutely hated it. This was because I prefer the smaller arena maps, and I spend most of my time on Behemoth trying to get the shock rifle or sniper when it was on the map, and getting some cool snipes. But everyone knows by now that you really need to control the vehicles on Behemoth. Not many things make my blood boil like trying to use a sniper and getting ghosted and warthogged into oblivion, just to spawn again in the open and having nothing but an AR and pistol to defend yourself from the ghost. But it gets even better. Once you finally get cover from the ghost, you have the 4th player on the other team sniping you. This situation had me wanting to commit die faster than a full day of work. But once I took a step back, relaxed, and decided to drive my friends on the Warthog, I really had tons of fun on this map. I'm trying to take this perspective with the other flaws I've seen, such as the AR and pistol. I think the AR is overpowered, but being someone who spends most of his time in the competitive HCS settings, I don't think it'll be something that I will need to deal with in the long run, as long as 343 doesn't pull another Halo 5. Similarly with the pistol, I don't think it'll be the starting weapon in HCS settings. I would assume it's going to be the BR. The problem with the pistol for me is that on the maps we've played, there's only one precision rifle per side, so you only get it 25% of the time. The other time, you're stuck trying to shoot the pistol well outside of its effective range, and it just feels generally useless. Even with close range, the bloom makes it feel like you miss shots sometimes, but other times it'll hit just out of pure luck. I will admit that it feels really rewarding to get a perfect with the pistol now, since you tend to spam the shots rather than slowly shooting to hit every single shot. But the randomness of the bloom is frustrating. And while on the topic of bloom, the Commando is a bigger culprit in my opinion. I think it balances a fast time to kill at mid to long range well with being hard to get on target at close range. I think the pistol was a better close range weapon option for sure, but there were 2 or 3 times over the 20 plus hours I played this weekend where I was going to die, I knew I was going to die, and I held the Commando trigger down and got a lucky 7-shot kill. It was so fast it felt like I was cheating. And that randomness being introduced to a game like Halo is a very bad thing. See Halo Reach. I also didn't really understand the changes they made to strongholds. It seems like they doubled the score to win from 100 to 200, but then more than doubled the scoring time? You get 1 point a second for having 2 strongholds and 2 points a second for having all 3. Compared to Halo 5 where you get 1 or 2 points every 3 seconds, I want to say, depending on if you have 2 or 3 strongholds. It also felt like they decreased the time to capture a stronghold. I don't know if they thought it would flow better like this with Halo Infinite's new mechanics, but I wasn't a fan. I didn't play enough to have a final opinion, but Strongholds was definitely my least favorite game type in this flight. But even with Halo Infinite's flaws, it was so much fun. I think it's a good mix of classic Halo and advanced movement Halo. Sure, it's not classic Halo, but as I've said before, this is the closest we'll get unless old school arena shooters become popular again. And classic Halo had its problems too. Sure, we look back at them with all the great memories we had, but the game still had issues. And Halo 5 had its issues as well. I'm just glad that the sandbox offered in Halo Infinite gives players endless possibilities as to what we can accomplish. I've seen some crazy clips, and we've only had 2 weekends to test this thing out. Shout out to Mint Blitz. I'm sure the community hasn't even tapped the surface on what's possible in Halo Infinite sandbox. And that's truly what Halo is about, right? Overall, Halo Infinite has plenty of flaws that may or may not get ironed out before release. But I'm happy to say that after this last technical preview, I am stoked to get my hands on the final product. There are still plenty of parts of the game we have not seen, but if the sandbox so far is any indication, there will be even more fun to be had on December 8th. If you guys had the chance to play the flight, let me know how you feel about Halo Infinite so far. Are you more excited after playing? Less excited? Indifferent? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Later.